Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General, appreciate you being here and all your great work through the years. In your testimony, you write, or you say and write, we recently gained the authority to strike Daesh. Since then, we have had considerable success in degrading their capabilities. A lot of us were concerned that that authority was not given to you earlier than it was, and clearly that has been a challenge. Later in your testimony, you write, groups aligned with the Taliban, such as Al-Qaeda and the Haqqani network, continue to threaten our national security interests. Can you share for us, do you have the authorities necessary to strike the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, and the Haqqani network?
Sure, thanks for the question. I have the authority to protect the coalition members against any insurgents, Haqqani, Taliban, Al-Qaeda, if they're posing as a threat to our coalition forces.
But do you have the authority to strike the Taliban because they are the Taliban?
Sure, just like, again, if the Taliban are attacking coalition forces, then I have everything I need to do that. To attack the Taliban just because they're Taliban, I do not have that authority.
So the President, this is the 2001 authorization for use of military force. Quote, the President is authorized to use all necessary and appropriate force against those nations, organizations, or persons he determines planned, authorized, committed, or aided the terrorist attacks that occurred on September 11, 2001, or harbored such organizations or persons. Did the Taliban harbor such organizations or persons?
The Taliban, Al-Qaeda, all of the insurgent groups, the networks that they have are really intertwined. It's very difficult many times to separate who's AQ, who's Taliban, who's TTP, who's IMU, who's LTP.
So according to the authorization for use of military force, you have the authority given to you by Congress, signed by the President, to use the necessary force, and yet the President, it seems, is saying you can't attack the Taliban even though they were responsible for September 11th?
So I think as we adjusted our mission in 2015, we went away from combat operations, and we've worked with the Afghans to build their capability to go after the Taliban. Again, if the Taliban are attacking or pose a threat to coalition forces, I have everything I need to provide that force protection. But just to go after Taliban because they're Taliban, I don't do that, sir.
So when you talk about the train and assist mission, the TAA mission, as your testimony talks about, one of the challenges we have is with only 9,800 troops, makes it difficult to do that kind of training and assisting at lower levels. Is that correct?
Sir, we only do train, advise, and assist at the ministerial level, MOD, MOI, at the corps level, and really only on 4 of the 6 corps. On the other 2 corps, we provide expeditionary advising, so it's not what we call level 1. It's not every day, it's sporadically. And then we provide tactical level TAA only with the Special Operating Forces and with the Air Force. So we're not down at the Kandak or battalion level. We're not down at the brigade level.
Would it be beneficial to you to be able to go to those lower levels with training and assisting?
So we're looking at in our assessment if that would make a difference. I don't think we can do that everywhere. You know, that would the number of forces that would take would be far more than what we even had in the surge many years ago. I think what we have to do a better job is taking the right units and providing them the right necessary equipment, training, manning, and put them in the right places. And as we focus on the Special Operating Forces, they've made a huge difference. I think if they get after other reforms that we've worked with them on, getting off of checkpoints, you know, coming up with a force generation cycle, working off attrition, building leadership, that will probably do a lot more at this point in time for them than trying to put a whole bunch of people down at the Kandak level. That's just unrealistic at this point in time.
The limited training and assisting that we're currently doing, we ought to be doing more. If we go down from 9,800 troops to 5,500 troops a year from now, I presume that means we're going to be doing even less training and equipping. Is that going to be a good idea or a bad idea? Given where we are right now, do you think that's even possible?
So I'm working that assessment, work that through the process to provide where we go with that. Again, the 5,500 number is more focused on a CT mission as opposed to a TAA mission.
So we won't be able to do TAA at those numbers.
So we'll have a very limited ability to do TAA with 5,500 numbers.
Lastly, Mr. Chairman, it is astonishing that, that we have an authority to go after the Taliban, and the President is preventing us from doing that. I yield back.